Hi, I'm Ron Macklin. Welcome to a podcast on the power of empathy in podcasting. Power for me just means it's the capacity to get things done. It's although people can say it's a term of pushing people down or whatever. Power is just your capacity to do something. Sorry, I'm a recovering engineer. Power just means the ability to get things done. When I look at what is empathy, the first question I ask is what does it do? What does it take to be empathetic with somebody? And empathy is my definition here, right? It's understanding what the other person's going through, their situation, understanding who they are and what they're going through. So it's about focused on the other person. And in a podcast, being empathetic on the podcast, either as a guest or as a host, is really to be looking at the other person and to understand what they're going through. How do you do this? We've all built a relationship in our life where it took 6 months to a year, or maybe years, right, to be able to build trust with somebody where you could just share who you are and what's going on in the world. We don't have that on a podcast. We've got milliseconds, right? Sometimes we need to do this ahead of time, but we can do it milliseconds at the beginning of the podcast. So how do we do that? Where do we start? Well, the first place to start is with ourselves. Like us. When we're getting ready to go on a podcast, either as a host or a guest, right, there's a space for us to look at ourselves first. In a way, to kind of create our way of being before we go in, and to be empathetic in that towards yourself. I mean, we spend our whole lives competing. We have stories about ourselves in us that are, I'm not enough, I'm not fast enough, not strong enough, I'm scared, and there's something wrong with me that I'm scared. And there's nothing wrong with you that you're scared, because everybody is scared. There's something wrong with you if you're not scared. Being human means being scared. It means feeling insufficient, being insecure, being not enough. And even those people who have the really good, they look real confident in the world, their confidence is how they hide their fears. They create that so they can hide their fears that way. But inside they're still scared. So we're all scared. So if you have fears, if you have anxiety, if you have stomach racing and all this stuff going on, but welcome to being a human, and you're normal or you're perfect. You're perfectly normal and you're scared. When we know that, and that everything you've gone through in your life puts you to a place where today you're the perfect you, all those histories, all that good stuff, all that bad stuff, perfectly you, to be empathetic with yourself and say, I'm enough. I'm okay. I may screw this up and I may learn something really cool, but I'm going to be me, and that's enough. Now that's empathy for you. Now you've kind of created your own world for how you're going to be inside this space. So now you can go, we've kind of created who we are now. Got that. Let's go to the other person. They're scared just like us, right? They're insecure, no matter how famous, no matter how powerful, no matter where they grew up, what family they're connected to, what businesses they've run. They've all got their fears. They're all afraid. They're just like us. They're just like everybody else. And to hold that story that they are that way makes it easier for you to see them as the powerful human they are, that with the fears and the vulnerability and the authenticity and the creativity and the gifts that they have, because you can see what's really there for them, not their shields up, which is, look how strong I am, look how good I am. So how do you start that? Because in a podcast, it's got to happen like that. It's just like, boom, we got to be there, right? First, create yourself. Pretty cool. Next, create who they are for you. Create them in the world. Have empathy for them and where they're at. And be looking for the moment that you can be vulnerable. And that means sharing a story about yourself that doesn't always make you look good, but it definitely makes you look like a good human because you learned something, you grew, you went on. Share that story, and that gives the other person and also the listeners an opportunity to drop their shield. to drop their shield down to where it's a space that people can listen, right? They can listen as how it affects them, how it affects the world around them. Now, when you create that moment, you share that vulnerable story, what normally happens, not always, but normally happens, is the other person go, I relate to that. I've been there. I've been in something like that. I've been in that space. And now you have two people on a podcast, or three, how many people you have on a podcast, being vulnerable on this podcast in a space where you can actually let people who are listening to your podcast drop their own shield. To say, I don't have to be perfect. In fact, it's even more powerful for them if they can just be themselves. And that everything they've gone through is really cool and enough, and everything that was successes and all their failures. And they're in a place where now they can listen to you openly and honestly. Now, as we dance in the conversation, there's always a place where you can share another story. They can share another story. You can learn together. You can create something new. Now, what I found in doing this podcasting for 2 years now, there are people who, when I drop my shield and I do that, my podcast, and I connect with them authentically, right? There's a place where they'll want to do something else with us, or I want to do something with them. Because I go, well, I love the way you work and move. What can we do next? So you get a conversation with somebody who says, I'd like to have another strategy conversation. I would love to have, talk about another podcast. I would love to, whatever you guys want to do, let me know. How do I get a hold of your stuff? All that kind of space. Because when we can be empathetic, when we can be honest, when we can be vulnerable, that also opens up the space for us to be bold, to be courageous, to be you. And that's for me being on a podcast. It's the other person that's on the podcast, or other people that are on a podcast. And it's all the people who are listening to your podcast. They get a chance to be a different self for them. And there's nothing secret or special about all this. It's just people being people and connecting. And when we can do that, it opens up a whole new world for whatever the topic is for the podcast. Because see, this is not whatever the podcast topic is about. This is like the foundation that's underneath of the podcast that enables the topic that you want to talk about to be talked about in a way that people can actually hear it, that they can connect to it, that they can design new experiments and go out into the world and run new experiments. Come back and say, this worked, or I tried this, didn't work. There's a space where we now have a place to open and create a whole bunch of new conversations with each other. Now, a question you might ask, who is this guy to tell me the story about empathy? Like, where did he come from? It's a good question. This journey started for me probably somewhere in junior high. It definitely went all the way through my college career, my high school, college career, football. To be able to play and to do what I was doing, there were some amazing athletes, pro athletes now. And I was able to play with them and dance with them in that space. And I thought, well, that was kind of the end of it. And then I realized it's the same in the world. Like people who are in business, we're competing, we're not collaborating. We're trying to get the customer, we're trying to get the promotion, we're trying to get the raise, we're trying to get the job. Well, all of those things are just competing all the time. And it really occurred to me that there was a space that there's a whole bunch of individuals running around trying to do stuff. That we weren't really connected to each other. We really weren't doing anything that was worthwhile because we were all just trying to survive by not dying, by not losing your job, by not losing your money, losing your income. I set out to build a capacity to connect with people. Empathy played a major role in being able to connect with people. To build teams that we set world records, we doubled profitability we went 20 million, 40 million, 60 million. I didn't do those things. It wasn't me. The groups around me that could be open and honest and quickly communicate what was going on, share their story, share their fears. Two things happened. they performed higher than they ever thought was possible for themselves. It was always a treasure when somebody would say, I just did something that I didn't think I could do. One step. Two step. Other people started to show up. Like going like, I want in that group. I want to be around you guys. And it never went like, I want to be around Ron. No, I want to be around that group because I want to be a part of a group that can perform like that. As more people started to show up and I moved around to a couple of different jobs, different locations. The part that I really enjoyed was never what the business was. Like we would work on something, we would build something, we would manufacture something. That was never what was mattered to me. It was the relationships, the connections that people would build that made people who already had those skills amplify and produce something that sometimes you could say they were troubled people, not troubled people, that's not the right word. They were challenged. And all of a sudden now they were outperforming. But they were doing it as a team. They were connecting with each other as a team. And not like rah-rah team, like people that you could trust. People, when the phone rang or the text came in, you look forward to seeing how can I help the person. And that's built on empathy for the other person, which is built on empathy for yourself first. Part of the thing that I want to share is the last thing. Being empathetic, connecting, vulnerable, can sound like nasty and bad. Like, oh, it's yuck, yuck. That's you choosing it to make it yuck. My stand is to have fun doing this. And fun is not like a result. Like we did this thing and then there was fun. It's, I'm going to do this and have fun while I do it. I'm going to say it again. I'm going to do this and I'm going to have fun while I'm doing it. So have fun telling a vulnerable story. Have fun being authentic. Have fun listening to other people do the same with you. We're all in this together. If we choose to be. And I choose to be in this with other people. When you can relax, have fun, be open and be honest, the creativity can flow. You can do things that are even greater than you think are possible. And then it's a good, rich life. Now, when we look back to podcasting, my intention is for every podcast to make a connection, to learn something, and to really appreciate the other person's gifts for what they bring. And to do that, being empathetic with myself first and them second, creates a space for that to happen. Have fun. Hope to see you soon. This is Ron Macklin.